The biggest question for every NFL team across the league is, do you have a quarterback? And for years and 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 years in Washington, the answer to that question has been largely, nah. That question might have a different answer now. Let's have a podcast. What up, everybody? It's JP Finley. It's Beltway Football. We're brought to you by MGM National Harbor, and holy moly, Mitchell. What a performance by Jayden Daniels. Just a true like virtuoso, like Mozart type stuff out there. And you cap it off with the deep shot to Terry to seal this thing. I mean, when's the last time these guys went out and just won a game? And Cosby said in the locker room, he's like, we put our foot on their throats and never wanted to let go. Holy shit, what a win.
I mean, listen, we'll get to the defense because it wasn't great tonight, but
yeah, we'll get to that.
Didn't punt. The Bengals, I know, but no, just like, the Bengals didn't punt. The Bengals didn't turn the ball over, and the Bengals scored 33 points, and the Commanders were in charge of this thing. It was Jayden's welcome to the NFL moment. It was Jayden's heads up to the rest of the league. Hey, I'm here, and I can play in this league, and it was unbelievable to watch.
Dude, it was unbelievable. You went through some of the stats there. Shout out to Charlie Moulet with the Commanders who sent us a bunch of statistics. I tweeted some of these out. First of all, Tressway hasn't punted since Tampa week 1. The last time he punted, we were in Florida. We're currently in Ohio and about to travel to Arizona. Tress was doing a bit with me in the postgame locker room, icing his hands because he's holding the ball so much on extra points. Specific to Jayden, every moment in that game so when Cincy cut it to a field goal, or I guess they cut it to 5, right?
Yeah.
It really felt like, oh man, if they can get a stop, they're going to win this thing. Because the defense was god awful most of the night and cannot cover Jamar Chase. But for Jayden to lead that drive in that moment is such like grown ass quarterbacking. You know what I mean? Just the like, as impressive as the stats and the accuracy, all of that is so impressive. But I've been telling people that have asked me this for a while now, like, what do you think of Jayden? And I'm like, we'll see what happens on the field. Like, I think he's pretty good, but we'll see. But what I know and what I've seen already is the guy, the person. He's unflappable. He's incredibly down to earth. I asked him after the game if any of his success is a surprise. And he said yes and no, because, I haven't done it before on this level, but at the same time, I know the work I put in and I know I'm preparing myself for these moments. And I just thought that was so fair and accurate that, like, he knows he's a baller and he knows he can do it. It's just, okay, each step you got to go and do it. It's do it on Monday night. Under just the brightest lights, the biggest stage, him versus Burrow, all that stuff. He completed 21 of 23 passes tonight for a 91.3% completion percentage. That's the highest completion percentage by a rookie in a single game in NFL history of the league. It's also the single game high in Commanders, Redskins football team history. I mean, that game is just unbelievable. And the moments, like, dude, you remember when John Beck broke those records, I don't know, 12-ish years ago or whatever, because he just hit Roy Halou for like 15 straight dump offs. I think Brunell might have had a stretch. Like, we've seen some weird quarterback records, but rarely in super impressive performances. Jayden tonight was jaw-dropping awesome.
And we've talked about him being California cool and how mature he is in the locker room and in front of the guys and at the podium and all these different things. And after the game, Nick Allegretti was saying, like, when you get in the huddle and it's a big pressure moment and you look across at the guy who's going to be handling the football and he's as calm and in control as he is, that's how you get confidence, amongst the team. And, there were so many big plays in that game, and there were so many, the 2 Terry touchdowns, and obviously the big man Trent Scott touchdown, which I was quite fired
awesome.
up about. But to me, it was early in the game. They had the 4th and 2, and he hit Luke McCaffrey on the kind of long crosser. And he joked after the game about Luke and Noah Brown were both there, and one of them was going to catch it. But to me, that was one of the first plays that you saw kind of his growth as a quarterback. He's stuck in the pocket, and granted, the O-line did a great job of getting time. The Bengals couldn't get to him tonight, which is interesting to see. But he's
until
stuck in
late.
the
But yeah,
pocket. Right. He's stuck in the pocket. He read through his progressions and he got to Luke and he just fired a dime. And Luke was wide open, so it made it a doable play. But just to watch him be calm and cool and collected in the pocket and not, tuck it and run, which, some young quarterbacks do. And certainly after that game in Tampa, there was concern about, is that what Jayden's, default is going to be? But when
right.
he was making those progressions, that's when I really like kind of locked in and was like, okay, this guy is different and he's making his moves. And we talked all week about he played in those games in Death Valley and at Alabama and all these
Tuscaloosa,
other
yeah.
across college football. And I think you saw at no point tonight was the moment too big for him. At no point did he, wilt under the spotlight or the pressure of having to continue to score. And it was just so damn impressive to watch. And, I think there were a lot of little things that we'll kind of get to as we move on. But that throw to Terry at the end of the game is just such a put your stuff on the
Onions.
table.
Sam Cassell dance, dude.
Right. All of it. I mean,
And for
just
the
that,
people that
that
watch
is,
this on YouTube, I just did the Sam Cassell dance in my hotel room.
that's everything you want to see from your young quarterback.
Just the poise, the Steve Sands poise, the moxie,
The trust.
Yeah, dude. Think about we've seen quarterbacks that have the poise and the moxie, but not the arm, and we've seen quarterbacks that have the arm and the athletic skill, but not the poise and the moxie. Like this young man has all of it, and you don't want to get over your skis. Like I don't think we should be making Super Bowl declarations, but dude, they are now 2-1 and tied for the division lead. Like it's with that offense, it's hard to see a game that they're out of. With that defense, it's hard to see a game that they will run over anybody. I think to
Real quick
Jayden,
before we get to the
yeah,
defense. Go ahead. I was just gonna all the Cliff Kingsbury talk about
dude.
line of scrimmage throw, quick throws, all that. He pushed the ball downfield today. 2 straight games where they haven't punted. They scored on every offensive possession that they've had the past 2 games, minus the kneel downs. I mean, the stats are gaudy about what this offense is doing. And as much as you want to compliment Jayden and everything that Jayden has shown on the football field, Cliff took a lot of heat after kind of those first 2 weeks and what was happening there. To go out and score 38 tonight, pretty impressive.
Dude, I mean, the offense, they haven't punted since week 1. Yeah. They've scored everything except a kneel down. They've scored for 2 straight weeks. And the last possession in Tampa, they scored. Like, offensive efficiency for a simple college offense is a joke. And, dude, coming into this, we were all convinced they had to run the ball, time of possession, try to grind it out. They didn't run the ball very well tonight. B-Rob averaged 2.1 per carry. Obviously, Eckler goes down. That's a real concern going forward. Austin Eckler left with a concussion. Sources tell us the whole team is flying to Arizona. They're going to practice in Arizona for 3 days, get acclimated to West Coast time. Eckler didn't go with them. We don't know exactly what the plan is with Austin. If he's staying here, if he's flying back to DC, DQ will talk. For timestamp guy, it's freaking 1:19 in the morning on Tuesday. DQ's set to talk at 5:45 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. So we'll probably get some information about Eckler. That's a tough break because it sounds concussion going into a short week. Doesn't sound great. Obviously, you care about him more than the rest of that. We'll deal with the rest of that later. But, big man, I have said, I think we've agreed, you have said, I've always thought Jayden Daniels is a pure pocket passer that can also run. He's not a running quarterback. He wins from the pocket. When he's at his best, they're winning from the pocket. And I think we first really started to see that in the pros in the second half of that Giants game. And I think it continued tonight. Not to say he can't run, and there was some really impressive RPO stuff. And the one keeper he had on 4th down where he made the kid fall down. I mean, the linebacker for the Bengals, so much of it was really impressive. But when you go 21 to 23 for 250 and 2 touchdowns, like you're winning from the pocket. And I was talking with David Aldridge as we were taking the stairs from the press box all the way down to the field level. And the obvious comparisons here are to want to go to Robert. And I just think Robert was really good that rookie season, but they didn't get hot till late. If you remember, it was kind of up and down. And then they got really hot in the second half of the season, reeled off a bunch of wins. And early on, they broke out the read option when nobody was doing that in the NFL. Like, it was not to say gimmicky, but it was something new and unexpected, right? I don't know that Jayden, outside of just being awesome, is new and or unexpected. Like, it's Cliff's offense. It's got some unique wrinkles, but this is not like some new concept being introduced to the league, I would say. It's just really good.
And he was just really good tonight. He spread the ball around to 8-9 different receivers, including Trent Scott, which I'll continue pointing out. That was just awesome.
The best part was all the other O linemen in the locker room giving him a hard time about all the media he was doing. And because the O-line culture is just so remarkable and unique, and I enjoy it. I do think tonight was where a lot of storylines came to die. Do you want to run through storyline graveyard with me?
Yeah, go for it.
Terry McLaurin can't get open. He doesn't separate. And Cliff doesn't do enough to get him the ball. 4 catches, 100 yards, and a game-sealing touchdown. Is the Terry storyline dead?
Yeah. No, I mean, it shouldn't be. It should be dead because we have enough tape. We know what it is. Yeah. Terry was awesome tonight. And Terry going to Dan Quinn and telling him that he wants that one-on-one opportunity, the deep ball throw. I never had any doubt that Terry had the confidence in himself, but the connection that he showed tonight with Jayden and the concentration on both of those touchdown catches was just awesome.
All right, that storyline's dead. What about that the offense is too horizontal and nothing goes downfield? Dead?
Completely dead, yes.
Dead. What about that they can only get into the red zone, they can't score touchdowns?
Dead.
Dead. What about Cliff Kingsbury's simple college offense?
Dead.
Dead. It was storyline graveyard tonight, and I think that's awesome for Commanders.
Wait, you missed a good one.
Okay.
How about the O-line sucks?
Dead.
Like, I'm not out here saying
they're pretty good. Yeah,
but they've been pretty good through 3 weeks, and I'm not getting over my skis with Brandon Coleman, but they left him one-on-one with Trey Hendrickson a fair amount tonight. They were rotating him with Cornelius Lucas. I think today is the last day that they're going to be the last game that they're going to be doing those full rotations. And it wasn't just those guys working one-on-one.
When Hendrickson did beat inside, that was Coleman
late in the game.
Was it Coleman? Okay.
It was Coleman with Allegretti also kind of moving over there. He wasn't perfect by any means, but he showed a lot to me tonight. And a lot of the credit also goes to Cliff Kingsbury, just going back to it, with all the eye candy that they had in the backfield. The play action, the rollouts, all those different little things freeze those D linemen and help out an O-line if they need help. And your young kid came out and played, and you know what? Amarius Mims was a first-round tackle that was taken from Georgia by the Bengals. Today was the first day that he played in the NFL because of an injury, and he didn't play that great and got beat real quick early on the inside for a sack. I forget who it was that got him. I think it was Javonte Jean-Baptiste. And just
another rookie
about waiting until the third round to get, like all these different storylines dead.
One storyline not dead. This defense is not good. But how about just the freaking poise, the stones, the cojones, the ganas, whatever you want to call it. That last drive where they scored the touchdown to ice that thing. Okay. 12 plays, 80 yards. They had their first 2 penalties of the game on that drive. They had a false start on Ertz and then later a false start on De'Ami Brown. They went 1st and 10, 1st and 15. Then Jayden took a sack. It was 2nd and 20.
That was the Brandon Coleman sack. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2nd and 20 from their side of the 50 all of a sudden. And then they were able to pick enough up. It was like a 4th and 3, would have been too long of a field goal, had to go for it. And then just the 2nd and 20 with the game on the line, and you're able to not only convert again, and then take the deep shot and win the game. It's just what a really special player. A lot of people contributed to this thing. Do you want to get to the stuff?
The 4th and 4, real quick. The 4th and 4 on that drive was massive. I mean, you're at the 38-yard line, 39-yard line. So they could have potentially kicked a 56-yarder to go up 8. They could have
Yeah, but
punted to try and
if you
pin them.
miss the 56-yarder, then you're giving
Yes,
them the ball. And when
your
whenever
defense hasn't stopped
Burrow
anybody.
whenever Burrow saw Jamar Chase in one-on-one, he just threw it. He just threw
Yeah.
it. And frankly, I guess they did a good job of not giving him that many looks, but eventually you're going to. And I mean, the drive before that, since he went 5 plays, 70 yards, and a buck 48 for a touchdown. Like they
Yeah.
were.
But that's, I mean, how much trust does that show from Dan Quinn to Jayden Daniels? I mean, you're talking about the number 2 overall pick versus a kicker that you signed off the street on Wednesday. It felt like a fairly obvious go for it. And I think if you
Yeah.
have a veteran quarterback, there's no question you're going for it. But he is a rookie, certainly didn't play like one today. And to go out and make that throw, I think it was to Ertz, right, for the first down. That was just awesome. Like there were just so many little parts of the game and that show his growth and have pushed forward, how well he played tonight.
Totally. I mean, what a performance, man. You want to do game balls?
Before we get to this stuff, let's do game balls brought to you by Oarsman.
Yeah. We're going to do game balls and goats. We do this after every game. Game balls and goats brought to you by Oarsman Automotive of Virginia. We ride with them. Want you to do the same thing. 7 locations all over Northern Virginia, from Alexandria to Chantilly. Check them out at oarsmanva.com. I know those guys were watching. I know they were going bananas. Started at the top. Game ball, Jayden Daniels.
Yeah, not even no discussion needed.
No.
Game ball, Austin Eckler.
Sure.
He was real good early in that game, particularly in pass pro, but the touchdown was awesome, and he ran the ball pretty well. I think he was their leading rusher tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Yeah.
Jayden was their leading rusher with 39. Eckler had 3 rushes.
Leading running back rubber. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had that long kick return.
Right. The teams aren't going to want to kick off very much to this Commanders team.
Yeah, Eckler has looked explosive. Obviously, you've got this concussion looming now. We'll just have to wait and see. That we're not going to speculate on any of that stuff. You mentioned it earlier. I wanted to give Kingsbury a game ball. I thought everything tonight, and it was really just dialed in, and they keep growing offensively. And on a night where you score 38 and don't punt, the play caller OC deserves one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Real quick, I don't think we said the stat. First team in the Super Bowl era to score on every drive and not punt in 2 consecutive games.
The Super Bowl era, we're at what, like Super Bowl 54? You're talking a long time.
That's to have back-to-back games, with
right.
0 punts and 0 turnovers. I mean, it's just there's some of the numbers coming out of this game are just pretty bananas and in a different world than we've lived in. Next game ball, Terry McLaurin.
Easy.
I mean,
Easy
2
money.
game balls. Yeah.
I think our guy Lee Armstrong gets a game ball.
Absolutely.
I think Zach Ertz came up with some big catches late on those little option routes. He could break it in and just be open every time. I think the offensive line, and I'm going to defer to you. I'm going to let you, if you want to, if there's any specific O lineman you want to credit, but they're playing at a really high level. And listen, you don't roll up 350 yards of offense if your O line's not performing.
Yeah, it's 700, almost 800 yards of offense in the past 2 games, and that doesn't happen without them rolling. Brandon Coleman absolutely gets one. I thought he played extremely well tonight. Tyler Biadasz gets one.
He got beat to the inside on a late sack in a big moment.
He did.
I'm just saying, just presenting the full story.
Yes, it's absolutely true. Biadasz gets one for falling on the Zach Ertz fumble over the middle. I thought that was noteworthy. On the left side, I was very tough on Andrew Wiley for some of his hip work on the right side. Sorry, for some of his hip work and getting beat on the inside like Coleman did there. But he's been solid the past couple games. And then of course Trent Scott gets one for the touchdown and the celebration and all that. They joked after the game that maybe they were going to saw the football in half and give Trent Scott half and Jayden Daniels half, since it was Jayden's first touchdown pass. I thought that was kind of funny.
Real quick,
so, yeah,
the ball needs to go to Jayden, right?
Yes, Dan Quinn, after the two players said they were talking about the song and nothing. Dan Quinn said, I think we'll find another game ball and give it to Trent Scott, and he won't know the difference.
Yeah, listen, it's the odds are overwhelming that Trent Scott will never get another touchdown. So I understand why that ball means so much to him. But Tressway is a dear friend of ours. Everybody knew Tress was going to give up his number. Like,
Yeah.
Trent Scott ain't getting that football. You know what I mean? like it's the quarterback. He's the whole franchise. But
Real quick,
do
I'm
something
looking at the
nice.
box score. They gave Nick Allegretti credit for the fumble recovery. I thought it was Biotish, but maybe I was mistaken by that one. Either way,
I thought it was Bates in the moment, so clearly I was on.
A bunch of different guys were diving on it.
I think DQ gets one. I don't know if you saw it, but after they hit the first deep shot to Terry, and granted he got tackled at the one. You said 2 touchdowns. He only had the 1 touchdown because he got tackled at the one. But they needed that play so bad, especially because early in the game, Jayden missed a deep shot to Terry. He kind of threw it away when Terry was running wide open. I think the defender slipped. They needed that deep shot for like 8 different layers of the storyline graveyard, right? Like the Terry storyline, the vertical passing storyline, like all of these things. They hit it. Terry's running off the field. Dan Quinn picked him up, like bear hug, picked him up. And it felt like I asked Terry about it. And maybe we get that audio and run it later or something. But for Terry, it was like this. You could tell it's just this big sigh of relief. And we know Terry pretty well, and he hasn't seemed that thrilled the last couple of weeks, and not in like a menace, not like a problematic way or like a pouty way, but like he wants to help his team win. And tonight, dude, the best vibe in a locker room since the Eagles Monday nighter in 22. I think it's also their last win since their last Monday night win since that game. Might be their last Monday night game too. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But they were the biggest dog on the board this week. They're 7.5-point underdogs, and they won outright. And I think DQ gets a game ball, man. Like,
yeah, I'm with you.
I know, but he's a defensive coach, and the defense is really bad. But like, he's doing something right for the people side of this building.
I have 2 hat tips, which easily could be game balls if we want to give them for kind of individual plays. On that touchdown by Eckler on the touchdown run, Ben Sennett just absolutely picks up a defender. I think Grant Paulson tweeted me after I sent the video out that it was like from the blind side when he picks the guy up and just throws him into the stands. Sennett ran their DB all the way down to the goal line. It was a pretty damn nice block. And then Jeremy McNichols on the touchdown to Terry at the end of the game. He's coming in for an injured Austin Eckler, hasn't played a whole lot with the Commanders, and picks up a blitz in the middle of the field. And have you seen this one yet, JP? He just absolutely picks up a linebacker, and it looks like a WWF move. He kind of undercuts him and then stands up, and the guy is like doing, what is it? What's the movie where Patrick Swayze picks up
Dirty Dancing?
Yeah, it's like almost like Dirty Dancing with him as he picks him up and moves him out of the way. It was a hell of a block, and both those were two pretty nice plays that created big moments.
Yeah, I love it. It was that was a fun one, man. I think Goats. I don't know what you want to say here. The whole defense, most of the defense.
Javonte Jean-Baptiste, maybe a hat tip for just first career sack.
Sure.
In capacity.
And I think Dorrance Armstrong and there was a combined sack, I think, between Fowler and Armstrong. Luvu was kind of flying around.
Jeremy Chin early in the game had a couple of nice defensive plays to force them to settle for a field goal.
He had that PBU on the sideline where he rocked. I think it was Gesicki. Yeah. He broke up that 2-point conversion. Everybody in Cincinnati thinks that was pass interference. But dude, I have a tough time. I mean, they gave up 430 yards of offense. Yeah. Since he had 30 first downs. This is such a positive vibe pod because of the way they won that thing that we're going to wait and get into these issues later. But I mean, since he was able to score 33 in 27 minutes of possession, think about that.
It was bad. I have one
like Burrow, dude. And we're talking about Jayden. Burrow was 29 to 38 for 324 and 3 tutties. Like, damn.
Dude, at the end of the first quarter, they were 11 of 12, and that the one incompletion was the last play of the first quarter. They were
Right.
11 of 12 for a buck 35 in the first quarter, the two quarterbacks combined. My one real goat that I just want to give, and there's been a lot of consternation talk about Deron Payne and John Allen. We're through 3 football games now, 3 full football games, and they have a combined 5.5 tackles. At the beginning of the season, if you said they had a stat between the two of them, 5.5 through 3 games, you would hope that was sacks, not tackles. Both of them,
Yeah.
Deron Payne didn't have a stat last week. John Allen had, I think, 1 tackle last week. They each had 1 tackle this week. They were gashed up the middle in the run game. They were gashed across the defense, but they're gashed up the middle again in the run game. It's a real problem, and it's something that needs to be fixed or handled. I don't know exactly what the answer is, but it needs to continue to be pointed out because they are your second and third highest paid players on this football team, and they can't continue to perform this way.
You're not wrong there. For all the people, all the hand wringing over Jamin Davis being inactive last week, he was active tonight, and I think he had an assisted tackle.
I think he had 2 assisted tackles and 1 full tackle. Let me look it up.
2 tackles. Did he have a tackle on specials?
Maybe.
Whatever. I don't think he was. I got him here because one of them was on specials, and I'm just on the defense page because it's showing that he just has the 2 tackles here.
Yeah.
I like just for the hand wringing about that last week. I don't think he was the difference maker on the edge that some were joking him to be.
Right.
But I don't want to. No negative vibes. It's 1:38 in the morning, and they won a game because their offense was just outrageous. I think that's the end of the game balls and goats. Cincinnati's a cool town. Jeff Ruby gets a game ball.
Absolutely, Jeff Ruby gets a game ball. Had an awesome dinner. We had burro steaks at dinner.
What a cool concept. I hope that in a couple of years, and you go to the Palm, or it's one tough thing that DC doesn't have like its own local steakhouse like Jeff Ruby's. But like I hope that like you go into Old Ebbitt and you're getting Jayden style oysters or whatever that waffles, right? He likes waffles. Like make Jayden Daniels waffles on your brunch menu. There's a free publicity idea for some DC restaurant that has brunch. Make Jayden Daniels waffles. All right. Thank you to Oarsman Automotive of Virginia. That was Game Balls and Goats. Inevitably, I guarantee you, we will hear from Danny Frank about somebody we forgot. Do you agree?
Absolutely, and I'm sure we'll hear from other people about people that we forgot.
Keep in mind, it's 1:39 in the morning. All right, 100 chips, and we had me and the big man probably overcooked it a little on Sunday night, leading into a very long Monday workday.
Speak for yourself. I was very responsible.
I love how you lie. At least I tell the truth. All right, 100 chips.
One martini.
I had 1 martini, Mitch. Just 1. This is brought to you by MGM National Harbor and the BetMGM app. All right, take it away, big man. I listen, man. I zagged, and it was the wrong move.
Yeah, JP went under 46.5 points for all 100 of his chips. Obviously, that went far over. JP is now at negative 55 chips on the season. I parlayed over 46.5 points and Jamar Chase over 80.5 yards. That hit. And I am now at plus 217 chips on the season. So a little bit of a commanding lead here, but we're about to get to over-unders, and JP's gonna tout his commanding lead because he came in this week up 0.5-0. Jayden Daniels passing yards, 195.5. I thought they were going to get it done on the ground and went under. Of course, Jayden went over, so JP won that one. B-Rob rushing yards was 53.5. Again, both of us thought that they were going to run the ball a lot and do well. Of course, B-Rob went under. He did not have his best game. So JP's up 1-0 going into, what'd you call it? The LSU, the
superfecta.
LSU superfecta, which was the over-under was 628.5 of Joe Burrow yards, Jayden Daniels yards, Jamar Chase yards, and Paul Skeens strikeouts.
That's such a fun bet.
On Sunday, Jamar Chase had 118 yards. Jayden Daniels had 293. Joe Burrow had 328 for a total of 748, a whopping 120 more than the
Wow.
line that Bethesda set. So
Wow.
not the best line, but
I thought we got that line from BetMGM. I thought that was their line.
we did. We added it up from all the BetMGM lines that were
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
JP and I both correctly went over, and obviously it sailed over. So we did well there. And then with the Benji bet,
Hold on.
last but not
Hold on.
least, oh,
Hold
go
on.
ahead.
I am going to amend something in the official record book here. So I am now up 1.5 to 0 in over
One and a
unders.
half to 0.
That I got the half point because there was some ambiguities surrounding Jayden Daniels sliding. We saw him slide tonight. We asked about it. He laughed about it. Tonight was a proper slide. We will waive the half point from week one. It's waived. I'm now up 1-0. That is
That
to
was,
counter any rumors of avocado toast participation that may be circulating about me and the stuff.
you know what? That was extremely, extremely magnanimous of you. So good work. Good work there. So JP has a commanding 1-0 lead in over unders. Now we get to the Benji bet. JP and I both were just extremely far off on this. We both thought the Bengals were going to win. JP,
Nowhere
despite betting
close.
on the under, thought it was going to be over. Not close, and we'll pick that up as we move forward. But let's close this pod with your favorite Dominion National. What makes you smile? Brought to us by Dominion National. Visit them at teethkeepers.com, where they
I can't
provide
believe you have the energy to sing that.
high value dental and vision benefits for individuals. Enroll today and save. Teethkeepers.com. JP, what made you smile?
I have no idea how you have the energy to sing that, which is not even in the ad read. You just invented it and want to keep it going. While we're doing reads, MGM National Harbor is your game day destination this fall. Catch all the games all season at Tap Sports Bar and the Bet MGM Sportsbook and Lounge. At Tap Sports Bar, you'll find an energetic atmosphere, indoor and outdoor TVs and bars, 48 beers on draft, and great game day food. Check them out. MGM National Harbor. We love that place. What made me smile today? It was a pretty cool moment in the press box at the end of the game. I feel like this is like my second Doug Williams making me smile reference. But at the end of the game, Jayden hits that throw to Terry, and the ball game's pretty much over at that point. And Doug, we kind of could hear him like, just being fired up. And somebody asked him, like, "Hey, what'd you think of that?" And he's like, "Oh, hell yeah." And it's cool to have Doug around. He's such a unique character. And then, like, you combine his legacy as a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I thought that was pretty cool. But honestly, just in general, like the amount of like happy texts and tweets and, for Skids fans, for Commanders fans, Washington fans, whatever, it's been a really, really rough time for a long time. And tonight really felt like something completely different, and that and it felt real and sustainable. If you choose to be freaked out that Jayden might get hurt, like, okay, but I just, the dude wins from the pocket and then he can run. And honestly, there were runs tonight where people will be like, "Oh man, he took some hits." If it's fourth down and you're running and you're trying to win a ball game, that's when you take hits. Like, you want to eliminate the needless ones, but that's what being a competitor is all about. And I've been impressed by his competitive side since he got here, and it shows. And I think for Dominion National and Commanders fans out there, it's okay to smile. Enjoy Tuesday, dude.
Yeah, I'll say just with the hits in the pocket, you have to give him credit that he stands in there and delivers the football. That last throw to Terry, the touchdown throw, he took a big hit. He had a free rusher coming at him. He had the poise to stand there and make the throw. And honestly, kind of what made me smile is along the same lines as yours. After the game ended, and Jayden had gotten done hugging talking to all the different Bengals players. He did a lap, not around the whole stadium, but like half the stadium, high-fiving Commanders fans that had moved down to the railings or whatever. And you think about how many times at FedEx Field in Landover, we've seen other teams come in, clear out the home fan base. All those fans come down, they're loud, they're cheering, their players are celebrating on the Commanders field. And just to turn it around and have it happen, in Cincinnati at Bengals Stadium. I thought the Commanders fans were awesome at the game. I thought all the people that we met were awesome last night, yesterday, in and around Cincinnati. Quick goat to the fan who tried to shake my hand at the urinal. I'm happy to talk to everybody, but there's a time and a place to say hello and want to shake hands, and that's not the right place. But watching Jayden like kind of take that half lap and high-fiving all the fans and hearing the noise in the stadium was just super cool. And we were standing there as the players were coming off the field into the locker room, and you just see those guys were fired up. It was a ton of fun. And I just think it's going to be awesome momentum for them as they head to Arizona. They spend this week out west, not really having, other distractions or other things to worry about, and get ready to play a Cardinals team that's pretty good.
Well said. All right, last thing. So Mitch and I are staying at the same hotel. Shout out to the Fairfield Inn by University of Cincinnati. Yeah. So Mitch is convinced he doesn't have a closet.
Oh, Mitch, I see it now.
This right here is the closet, buddy. That's the closet.
So I have no handle on that closet, which is why I didn't see it. It's just the door closed. No,
not sure about it.
I'm happy to get up and show you. Oh, lights aren't on, so hang on. Turning the light on. This is great TV. Here is the closet. There's just no door. There's no handle.
All right.
Well, it just looks like a regular piece of wood on the siding. So it is what it is. I'm sure this is an exciting end to a podcast for Commanders fans to listen to us talk about closets in our hotel room, but it's 1:47 in the morning and we're going to bid you guys adieu.
What a win, man. Enjoy this. We'll be back later in the week. I'm headed to Arizona. Mitch's coming out there this weekend. What a win. Hey, man, anything can happen on Monday night. You made it as far, out your beer.